Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. Hey guys, today is August 8th and the energies in the day adds up and reduces to number 5 vibration. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. So when it comes to the spirit animal, we are working with the owl energy, and with the owl energy, the owl is bringing me to the importance of, seeing between the lines, reading between the lines. Owls tie into the air element, and the air element ties into the mind. So with the owl showing up for today, I'm getting the feeling of taking a step back and making sure you're seeing all the details. Make sure you're reading all the fine print. Reading all the fine print brings me to say how this is the 8th month and the day is the 8th. And the number 8 deals with contracts, legality. So some of you, maybe one of you might be signing some major or important contract today. And when it comes to signing this major or important contract, you want to take a step back and make sure you're reading between the lines and make sure you're asking all the right questions. I think about how the number 8 could deal with authorities and how easy some of us could feel overwhelmed or overpowered in the presence of certain people that we put on pedestals. Maybe because we were conditioned to put these people on pedestals. And because we put them on pedestals, we kind of deceive ourselves. We do ourselves an injustice and not ask the right questions because we don't want to be looked upon in a certain way when it comes to dealing with these people. But, it comes down to who cares? When it comes to say yourself, you have to stand up for yourself. You have to protect yourself. You have to defend yourself. So I don't know, somebody needs to hear that, but it's make sure you're paying attention to the fine prints because the energies in the day adds up and reduces to number 5 vibration. And it's not even that say anyone might try to deceive, manipulate, or pull a fast one. I think about the number 5, how it could be such a busybody energy where we could find ourselves going from one extreme to the next or easily distracted with so many things to the point that we overlook or we missed out on something. So it's not even that other people are trying to pull a fast one, be manipulative or anything like that. It just comes down to so much distraction, so much going on. And when I think about the day and the month tying into number 8 energy and how the number 8 could deal with tunnel vision, and from the tunnel vision of the number 8, it could almost feel like Neptune energy as we're so focused on a thing within ourselves to the fact that we're blinded to everything around us. I think about people who are strongly associated with the number 8 energy, where as children, they might have gotten in trouble because things that the adults around them felt like they should have saw, they didn't see, because with the number 8 energy, if something isn't placed, if you didn't place this thing in front of you, you cannot see it. It's like you're staring straight through it. I think of a person staring off into space and another person might be right there and think they're looking at them, but they're not looking at them. They're inside of themselves. They just happen to be looking that way. So with the number 8 bringing that aspect to the day, we could find ourselves so zoned out in our thoughts towards we're on autopilot, just making a mess of things in a way. It's starting the day and it's stumbling over things, tripping over things within your space or around you because your mind is so off and gone, focused on something else. When I look at the moon and the aspects being made to the moon is so interesting. It's interesting because the moon conjuncts Jupiter and Uranus. So the inner world is in Taurus, but with Jupiterian energy, there's this level of optimism about our security, about our stability, about, bringing comfort to ourselves. The moon also conjuncts Uranus. Uranus brings the sense of freedom, wanting to rebel, wanting to be innovative. So it's like Jupiter and the moon brings our attention to Taurus type things, but Uranus conjunct the moon makes our emotions feel a bit all over the place, as we want the security and the stability, but at the same time, we want it on our own terms. We want to feel, we want to be able to feel free and innovative when it comes to, say, security, stability, and even tradition. So it's like, it's not that a person wants to completely get rid of traditions or the things that makes them feel safe or secure. It's like they want to be able to live life according to their own terms. So it's like, okay, there's all these rules, and I want to choose which rules that I will apply to my life and which ones I will dismiss, is what I get with like Uranus conjunct the moon. So when I look at, say, the conjunction being made to the moon, and how that's being squared by the sun and Venus in Leo, the square that's being made to what's happening with the moon is that our inner world is in a position where it's like, yeah, security and stability is the focus, even if it means dismissing what I'm passionate about. Security and stability is the focus, even if it means like not allowing myself to shine, even if it means dimming my light. I look at how the moon, the conjunctions being made to the moon is being positively aspected, creating a trine between Mercury and Mercury and Mars in Virgo. So the positive aspect that's being made to the moon brings me back to like, pursuing things in a way that's practical, in a way that makes sense. Even if when it comes down to it, we feel like prisoners doing it, at the end of the day, it's familiar. And what is familiar will feel safe, even when it is destructive. Uranus conjunct the moon is a part of a trine between Neptune and Pluto. Neptune is in Pisces, Pluto is in Capricorn. So with the positive aspect being made between the trine, Neptune and Pisces, Pluto, and Capricorn, that energy brings me to the importance of taking a step back, reflecting, and going within and figuring out what we might need to release when it comes to our goals, aspirations, and legacy that no longer works for us. What we would need to release in order to go after what's important to us, or what we need to release because it's no longer working for us. We might not know what we want next, but we know that this isn't working. And the only way to come to that realization is through solitude, is through silence, is through being alone and reflecting. So that's what I'm getting when it comes to the trine that the moon conjunct Uranus is a part of. But overall, when I look at, say, the energies being made, the aspects being made to the moon, the only challenge, comes from, say, the sun and Venus in Leo. So the only challenge being made to the moon is that the inner world is being challenged by the identity, by the passion, by the inner child, by our ability to be free, to shine, and to express ourselves. So we could find ourselves wanting to agree to something that feels safe, but at the same time, it dims our light. Agree to something that feels safe, but at the same time, it doesn't allow us to laugh, be playful, silly, or just be expressive and free, is what I'm getting. And I feel like, of course, when we're betraying ourselves, suppressing ourselves, and going against ourselves, it's like we won't want to face ourselves. So when we don't want to face ourselves with the number 5 energy, we'll find ourselves busy and distracted with everything and anything, because the thought of being still and saying, you know what, like going after this thing that feels safe, but it doesn't make me happy. It's like we might not want to face that part of ourselves, so we allow ourselves to get distracted with everything, anything, and nothing. Mars is in Virgo, and Mars is the ruler of the day. And with Mars in Virgo, we're motivated by the importance of perfection. And in order for something to be perfect, it needs to be compared to something else. So whenever we're seeking perfection, that's just us imitating what's been presented to us as as what are the ideal ways of being. So whenever we're seeking perfection, we're imitating the ideal ways of being, whatever was marketed and presented to us. Mars also conjuncts Mercury. So the mind isn't, we're motivated by our thoughts, but everything is in Virgo. The mind is in Virgo. So with the mind and Mars in Virgo, we're motivated by the details. We're motivated by practicality. And again, Virgo is the virgin. So this is where we live our lives based on how the people we look up to tell us to do it. I remember having a conversation with a elder Virgo that I know who has gotten to a point in their life where it's like, yeah, they're a lot older and they realize that every decision that they made in their life was based on the opinions that the people that they looked up to. And they came to a realization that they never lived their lives for themselves, and they made a lot of mistakes following these people that they looked up to, these people that were also following, others that they looked up to that lived their life a certain way. And listening to that person speak and hearing the regret in their voice, even though they didn't come out and said it, made me feel good about living my life according to my own terms, made me feel good about trying things, realizing that I don't like it, moving places, realizing that I don't want to live there. But it felt good to know that I lived my life according to my own terms, because at the end of the day, if I'm going to mess my life up, I prefer to mess my life up doing, following what's in my heart or what I think is in my heart, opposed to messing my life up following somebody else who's following somebody else, then left with all this regret, coulda, shoulda, woulda, when what about me? What about what I want? What about what I think? What about what I feel? So when I think about these energies today, I think about that, how we could get so lost or out of fear, gravitate towards, say, concrete, traditional ways of doing, even though those ways were probably amazing and they work, but we're in a totally new time. We're in a new season, new things, different things are influencing our reality. So with different things influencing our reality, then it calls us to be different in ways. It calls us to be like water, to be malleable. So when it comes to the energies, then today we might find ourselves wanting to kind of, ignore what we're being called to do or how we're being molded by the universe, by our higher self, and wanting to be fixated on the way certain things were, even though those things aren't working. And because, deep down, there's a part of us that knows that that's not what's for us. And we might feel like we're betraying ourselves in the process. But instead of facing ourselves, we could find ourselves distracted by everything and anything and nothing. So to me, today might be a day where we feel like the day started upside down, in the sense that, all of the tunnel vision and focus, we find ourselves just being inconsistent and all over the place, starting the day one way and it ending completely different, or just not the way how we expected, or even just, escapism might be a thing. The 8 of Wands is the tarot associated with the day. So it's all these 8s. And with the 8 of Wands being the tarot that is associated with the day, the 8 of Wands brings me to say that Wands is passion, it's motivation, it's action. The number 8 is systems, it's cycle. And it brings me to the thought of having a good system, but a system that works for you. It brings me to the whole saying, the secret to success, when success is a system. The issue is that we've been conditioned to follow systems that won't get us to success. Well, systems that will keep us on the, like a hamster on a wheel. We're conditioned to follow systems and to pursue things that won't get us happiness or freedom, but instead keep us as consumers, keep us on the wheel, constantly consuming and scratching our heads like monkeys, confused as to why we're following all the rules and doing what we've been told, but yes, still we're miserable. Yes, still we're doing all this work, but we're not getting anywhere or don't have much to show for it. Or even if we have things to show for it, it's like the devil card. We're like prisoners and able to maintain these things, that we've been conditioned to think that we want. So when I think of the 8 of Wands energy, I think of the importance of creating your own system. It's like the story I told about the Virgo person that I know who, was living their life to perfection. and following, say, their peers or the people that they looked up to in their life, only to realize that they don't like where they ended up, that they followed these people when it came to raising their children and just living their life on a whole, and now miserable with where they are. But I feel like as long as we're alive and we have energy, we can keep creating our reality and living our lives. So when it comes to, say, this energy for today, you know, it comes to say, what kind of system are you operating off of when it comes to all aspects of your life? Like, what influence the systems that you're using to create your life, that you're living by, the principles that you're living by. You know, the energies in today brings me to the thought of, like, you know, I wanted to say, it brings me to the thought of adjusting, making changes, realizing what parts of it work for you, what parts don't work for you, what you need to leave behind and what you need to add. But I just get like adjusting your systems, adjusting your sales, you know, and in order for you to even do that, you have to first stop and check in with yourself and know what's important to you, like what matters to you. I think about the person who's dating, and before they could even find their ideal person, they first need to know, like, what do you like? What do you not like? What are deal breakers for you? You know, what's important to you in a connection? Like, what are things that you enjoy doing, so that you don't end up in a situation where you're doing everything that the other person likes to do, only to find yourself so far into the relationship and feel like everything is all about them, when you started out the relationship not knowing what you wanted to do or what you wanted to eat. So you did what they wanted to do, you ate what they wanted to eat, and before you know it, their world revolves around yours, or your world revolves around theirs, I should say. And it's like, you know, that happened because you were unclear. I think about this saying, if you don't know where you're going in life, any road will take you there. So if you don't know where you're going in life, any road will take you there. And for me, when it comes to knowing where we're going in life, it's not necessarily about, for me, it's not necessarily about physical visual destinations in my mind, but it's like emotions, things that I want to feel in this life. Because for every goal that you have, there's an emotion that's connected to that goal. There's something that you want to feel why you have that goal to begin with. So to me, you know, it's all about, how can I create these feelings? How can I create situations that will create these feelings? Because every single goal you have, there's a feeling that is the foundation of it. It's a feeling that you're trying to accomplish. It's a feeling that you're trying to acquire. You know, it's a consistent feeling that you want to keep having. And there's ways for us to create those feelings. And just from creating those feelings, you know, we'll trick our mind to thinking we already have that thing. And the manifestation process is even faster just from that. You guys, such a pleasure sharing this message with you as usual. If you would like to book a natal chart reading with me, or check out my exclusive weekly content only on Patreon, the links for that is in the description box below. Please let me know you're here with me by dropping me a blue heart in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.